so I started playing football when I was, I think, around 5 years old. And at that time in the Netherlands, it wasn't very big. So you had a couple of professional clubs, but like the big clubs didn't have any women's teams yet. And I played for my local club until I was 15, 16. And we always played against boys, so that we could play at a high level in my girl team. And then when we started playing against girls, we played at the highest level possible in the Netherlands. And we also won the Dutch championship with the team. And during that time, I also played in an academy for a female team that used to be professional, but they ran out of money and they wanted to restart it again, basically. And they played, the first team plays in the Eredivisie, which is the highest league in the Netherlands for professional football. And I played for the under 21s. So the team was called Telstar. So I played in the under 21s for that team, and it was really cool to play against teams like Ajax, Feyenoord, like the big teams, and it was very cool experience for me. But I was also injured a lot at that time, and it had to do with stress. It was in the COVID time, so it was already a bit of a weird season where a lot of the matches were postponed, and it was a weird season. And in that season, I kind of lost the love for football because it felt more like a chore. So I stepped down. I went back to my local club, and I still played at a very high level. And I've been doing that for the past 2 years. Just playing at under 20s now, at the highest level in the Netherlands. That is not professional, and I really enjoyed that. So basically, that is kind of like the short story of my football career.
So you now play at correct me if I'm wrong, RKV. Is that
DSS? Yes, RKV DSS.
Okay, RKV DSS.
Yes, and that basically I started there, and that used to be before like any big teams were there. Used to be one of the biggest clubs in terms of football for girls. It had the most girls at their club at the highest level, and a couple of players actually play for the Dutch national team now who have played at DSS.
So what inspired you to be a professional woman football player?
Well, I always had the dream to become a football player. It was the only thing that mattered to me. I missed classes for it and everything. And I think what inspired me is a player who's called Anouk Hogendijk. And she played for Ajax. And she was like, I don't know, she was like the first big transfer Ajax had, because they started their women's team quite late. I think around 2011, 2012, I think. And she went to Arsenal, and Arsenal was like my dream club. That's like one of my favorite clubs ever. And I think when I saw her going from Ajax to Arsenal, I was like, that's what I want. So I was training for that every single day. That was my biggest inspiration. Yes.
So
yeah, the last couple of seasons I've played at centre back. Yeah.
So why did you choose to play as the center back? Because yeah, you know, a lot of young player dreams about scoring.
So I started out as a left winger, so on the wing, but I am very good in seeing where the pass needs to go, and I have a very good pass, like a long pass. So I'm good at like passing the ball over like 40-50 meters, and I am not very quick. So I went from left wing to midfield to defensive midfield, and then in the end they needed, our center back was injured, so I was like, you know what, I'll go play there because I can defend. I'm quite strong. I'm small but I'm strong, and I see I don't know how to say it, I can see the game, I see where the passes need to go, and I'm very comfortable on the ball.
You can see everything in the field.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So this is a good question because there's not a lot of information about that, because most of it, the information that we know for development is for men. But what I found quite interesting is that as a woman, you have to be very careful about your knee, your ACL, because we are like 10 times more likely to like have an injury there. So you have to have a different training program. So like on the field, training is very important, obviously with the ball and everything. But I think when I play professionally, I spent like 4 days in the gym as well, just strengthening my body, strengthening my core, my legs, because it's so physical. So you need to be very strong in your body. Like football is not just hitting a ball, but it's just you have to take care of your body, because otherwise you're just going to get injured. So I think that's really important. It's a big thing, and now in the Netherlands as well, it's getting a lot of attention. And there's actually like studies now on it. They're studying it, which is very good for footballers now. If you're like I think like 6 or 7, it's a very good time to be a female footballer, because you get so much information now. When I was young, I didn't know. I didn't even really have an end goal when I was 7, because there wasn't really much to look out for. But now you can literally achieve anything. I think coming in every day and getting 100% out of yourself, because it can be really tiring. I mean, if you play at a high level, you have to train every day, and your body gets tired, and you sometimes want to do things at 70%. But if you do things at 70% and other people are doing it at 100, they're getting better than you, and you're not growing as much as they are. And sometimes that's just very hard to get yourself to actually put in the work when you're tired. That's the hardest part. Yeah. So my father, it's from my father's side. My grandfather was born in Surabaya, and my grandmother was born in Bogor. But both were born just before the Second World War. So they spent their time in, like, I think the first couple of years of their life, they did spend their time in Indonesia. And they went to the Netherlands when they were also quite young, but enough to remember everything the life that they built there. And both of them had Indonesian blood as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's fully from the father's
From my
side.
dad. Yes.
And your father is half Indonesian.
We don't know the percentages exactly. I did a DNA test. And I think my percentages were around, I think 23-24%. So he should be around half, but yeah. Yes, I have. But I was 8 at that time, and we went with my dad's side of the family, so it was really beautiful, because my grandpa returned to Indonesia with his grandkids, and that was something very special to him, to show us from this is the country that he was born in, and like he makes all this amazing Indonesian food, and now we got to see where it's from and like the original recipes and everything. And I mean, I was 8, so I was very young, but I do remember just loving it. It felt like coming home in a sense, because the smells was something I was used to, and the food was amazing. I loved the food, obviously, and the culture. And it was funny actually, because my dad and I, at that point I already loved football a lot, and we went to Bali at first, we went to a soccer pitch, and we actually played some football. And at that time, the local school was just out, so a couple of kids joined us, and it was so much fun to just play football there as well. It was amazing memories. What did? Oh, I love soto ayam.
And then?
That's my favorite. And I eat a lot of gado-gado.
Can you get it at Netherlands? Like maybe is there a Indonesian restaurant in city that you live in?
Yeah, so we do have a couple of Indonesian restaurants, but it's just never as good as my grandpa's food or my dad's food. And we do have toko in here, like close nearby, and they sell a lot of Asian food and a lot of Indonesian food as well. So I do get my ketan rice there, and the gula jawa I can get there, and do get my gado-gado there as well. So, but as well as like, obviously there's a lot of Indonesian food that I like, but also in the Netherlands you also have a lot of like Dutch combined with Indonesian, so like a blend of sorts. So I don't know, spekkoek, I don't know if that's like very Dutch Indonesian. I think a lot of the time you don't even know if someone has Indonesian roots, because when you look at me you don't immediately think, oh, looks like she's got a little bit of Indonesian in her. But what's funny is I had a teammate at DSS, but also at Telstar, who also had Indonesian roots, and we did kind of talk about it. We talked about our favorite foods, but we never talked about like Indonesian football or anything, so that wasn't never really a conversation. But like I said, what I do see is like you have certain Instagram pages like Talent Indonesia. They interviewed me as well, and then when I scroll through their page, I'm like, oh, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one, and it's like fun to see they have Indonesian roots, and I've played against many, so it's fun to figure it out, but it's not really something that you talk about. It would be an honor, like probably a dream come true to play for a national team. And yeah, Indonesia, I do feel connected to Indonesia with my grandpa and everything, and my dad keeping the culture alive for me. So I do feel a connection to Indonesia, so it would be an honor, and I would definitely have an open mind. Yeah. No, I do think it's a good first step to like get a good level, because obviously in Europe there are a lot of chances for players to play at a higher level. So I think it's good to, and I think also maybe to create a hype around it as well. So I think that's a good first step, but eventually you just obviously want people born in Indonesia, women born in Indonesia who have grown up there to play in their national team. But I think definitely players with Indonesian roots is a good way to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we all know in here we need people from Europe. Because yeah, you know, like the soccer in Europe is another level, right? It's the highest level if you compare with the Asia, even with Asia.
Yeah, but it's weird because like Asian teams, what I remember from like Japan, and I remember them just having like national teams that were so good, like they're beating like the Netherlands, they were beating, and a lot of other teams as well, a lot of European teams. I was like, so it was kind of shocking to me that in the rest of Asia it was kind of at a low level.
Have you ever got called by federation?
By
federation from Indonesia?
From Indonesia? No, I've never. No. never gotten called or anything. Okay, so my favorite player from the men, I think it has to be. Well, I have two. We have Edson Alvarez from Ajax.
Yeah.
He is a defensive midfielder, and I just like the passion he has in his game, and that's what I want to take in every game that I have as well. Just like fighting for your team and never giving up, and maybe also a bit aggressive in a sense. And this is like kind of the opposite. Martin Odegaard from Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird because they're not center backs and I'm a center back, but I just like how smooth he looks with the ball. He's like the complete opposite of Alvarez. He's just smooth, silky. He sees passes that no one sees. And from the women, my favorite player is Leah Williamson, also from Arsenal, and she is just very versatile. So she can play on the midfield, but she can also play center back. So I really like her versatility in that.
Say Ajax and Arsenal many times, so you are a fan of them, of that.
Yes, yeah, yeah. As a Dutch person, I obviously my favorite club has to be Dutch. And, my mother and my father are both Ajax fans, so I've been Ajax fan like since I was born. And I think I was 6 when I became an Arsenal fan. So yeah, those are like the biggest clubs and my favorite clubs. The most important thing is that you enjoy football and that it never becomes something that you hate doing. So work hard, train hard, go to the gym. The gym is so important for keeping your body healthy, but also keep your mind healthy. At our professional club, we had like a therapist you could talk to, because that's so important. Your mind has to be in it, or your body can't be in it. So have fun, work hard, and that's all you have to do. Hi, I'm Nina Doornweerd from Netherlands Club, RKV DSS. Go follow Kumpuran Bolanita. Support her goals.